Hira Vanachari Yamuna Hira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Randana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Manachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Subhadramai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. So, I can't hear the voice. Yeah, let's share the screen and we shall go. We are supposed to read 3, 11, 31 and 32 today. I hope you're able to see my screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayashva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukham Karoti Vacharam Pangum Rangayati Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So we are reading on Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 11, text 31. Tavatri bhuvanam sadyaha kalpanta idita sindhavaha plavayanti utkata topo chandavateri tolmayaha. Can you all hear me clearly? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, Prabhu.
Background noise here. So
Clear.
if I can,
We can hear you clearly.
someone can just confirm that you're able to hear me. Yes, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mamta.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, translation by Srila Prabhupada. At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow and hurricane winds blow very violently. Thus, the waves of the seas become ferocious, and in no time, all the three worlds are full of water. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is said that the blazing fire from the mouth of Sankarsana rages for 100 years of the demigods, or 36,000 human years. Then for another 36,000 years, there are torrents of rains, accompanied by violent winds and waves, and the seas and oceans overflow. These reactions of 72,000 years are the beginning of the partial devastation of the three worlds. People forget all these devastations of the world and think themselves happy in the material progress of this world. This is called Maya, or that which is not. Antah satasmin sarila aste anantasano harihi yoga nidra nimilakshaha stoyamano janalayahi. inflation. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, lies down in the water on the seat of Ananta with his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of the Janaloka planets offer unto the Lord their glorious prayers with folded hands. Purport. We should not understand the sleeping condition of the Lord to be the same as our sleep. Here the word Yoga Nidra is specifically mentioned, which indicates that the Lord's sleeping condition is also a manifestation of his internal potency. Whenever the word yoga is used, it should be understood to refer to that which is transcendental. In the transcendental stage, all activities are always present, and they're glorified by prayers of great sages like Bhigu. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chaksurummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupadamayyam Dhati Swapam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanitam Scha He Krishna Karma Sindhu Dīnamandhu Jagatpate Gopincha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaskute Tapta Kantini Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Pasindubhya Evacha Abhidhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurav Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare So a very nice verse which we are seeing today. If we just give you all an overview. We are in the third canto. So the third canto is mostly with regards to the right from the second canto itself. We are actually having the creation, Sarga Visarga. So if we see the third canto starts, like I was saying the other day also, first canto Srimad Bhagavatam does not start. Second canto it starts. And in second canto also we see about the creation. Third canto continues on that. And basically in second canto, 8th chapter, Parikshit asked some questions, Sukadeva, and Sukadeva Goswami, following the orders of how it should be said, that is a very nice etiquette. He said, oh, these questions, I'm not answering for the first time. These questions were asked earlier also. And the same questions were asked by Vidura to Maitreya Muni. So I will answer them through Vidura Maitreya Sambandha. He's just remembering these questions were asked and he's going to answer that, right? So if we can divide some way the canto 3, it will be, first part will be where Vidura and Uddhava meet. And basically, Vidura requests Uddhava to tell what happened. And it's like you all know, Vidura was insulted by Duryodhana, and Vidura thought, okay, that is good. This is the holy month of Damodara going on. Anytime anything happens, the devotees of the Lord consider that as a special blessing. In a way, they can increase their devotional service. So that's the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. That's how it is, so it is vice versa also. Vice versa in the sense, in case a devotee curses also, it becomes a blessing in disguise. Like we see in the Damodar, we see how Nalakuvera and Manigriva were actually cursed by Narada. But what happened was, there was actually blessing in disguise, because they got the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So anything which is for the devotee, everything is just a step to increase their faith on the Lord, increase their dependence on the Lord, and increase their dependency. That's the basic thing. So same way here also, Vidura, Maitreya, we see that Vidura was actually, just imagine someone whom you grew up with, your sons, your daughters, your family, someone they, from small, you grow them up, and when they grow up, they shout at you and they throw you out of the house. That is what happened to Vidura. Duryodhana basically grew in his arms, and Duryodhana misbehaved with Vidura. And Vidura thought, okay, that is very fine. Let's not worry about this. He said that, I think Krishna has some plans. Let's go on yatra. We are going on yatra next week. Right, sorry, this week itself, in 2-3 days. So he said, let's go to yatra. And in yatra, he meets Uddhava. And in Uddhava, he says, what happened? He meets you. Uddhava, like when you meet two friends, you ask about your common friends. So he asked about Krishna. So Uddhava said that Krishna, Yadus, everyone have left. He says that, he speaks about it. So actually, he speaks about that, and then he says about the how Krishna gave him his last guidance. So he asks, okay, tell me what he said. But Uddhava again showcases something like a Vaishnava etiquette. So Uddhava says that, no, I have to go. It's not that Uddhava didn't know, but Uddhava wanted to give respect that Vidura is senior to him. Vidura also wanted to take, he didn't consider himself a senior. He thought I should consider, I should take knowledge from anyone. So both were displaying devotional qualities. And they were displaying devotional qualities. But Uddhava said that Maitreya was there, so Maitreya Muni will tell you. And that's how Maitreya and Vidura. And then Vidura meets Maitreya in Haridwar. So we know now, even now people go to Haridwar. A lot of Muni's sons are there. But Maitreya had heard it from the Lord himself. He was in Parampara. So Vidura asks to Maitreya, he asks about Purushavatars, he asks about different planets, jivas. And that's how the part continues about how from Garbhadaksha and Vishnu, Brahma comes and all of that. So all that discussion goes on, and then he explains about, Maitreya explains about the appearance of Brahma, he explains about Brahma's prayers, Lord's reply to him, then how Brahma created 14 planetary system. Then in chapter 3, text, chapter 8 almost, he asks about time. He asks about time. Tell me something about time. What are the characteristics of time? This comes in around 10th chapter, and then he goes on speaking about the calculation of time. He speaks about time, and he says that what happens in different time frame, and that's where he's now speaking about that phase of the thing wherein everything is getting devastated, right? That's where we are actually seeing today. In today's world, we are seeing where everyone is getting by Sankarshan's Sankarshan, from the mouth of Sankarshana, the fire rages, and then he says this is the beginning of the partial devastation. So what happens is there is a full devastation, there is a partial devastation. Now, what is the partial devastation? When Brahma's day, everything works. When Brahma has to sleep, then a partial devastation happens. So because the partial devastation happens, that means everything will go back again. So in little forward, we will see how what is called Brahma Kalpa, what is called Padma Kalpa, when the Padma comes out from the lotus navel of the Lord, that comes up in some particular, in the later chapters it will come across. But what happens is everything goes for devastation. So when this devastation is happening, but people don't consider that anything is going to happen. They consider everything will go on as usual. In fact, Yudhishthira speaks about these things. So when the Yaksha asks Yudhishthira, you all know about this, right? When Yaksha asks Yudhishthira, what is the most wonderful thing of the world? And what does he say? Ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalaya. So he says that every moment people are going to Yamalaya. So in this case, they may not be going to Yamalaya, but they are getting devastated. But no one thinks that they are going to die. Everyone makes plans how they can stay for longer time. And that is what is Prabhupada calls Maya. Maya means that which is not, which will not happen. Right? So when this is happening at that point of time, but those who are knowledgeable, those who are devotees, what they do, they understand that this is all because of the Lord's guidance. And so, like we saw in the 32nd sloka, when the Supreme Lord is lying down, the inhabitants of Janaloka, and they are the sages, they are offering unto the Lord their glorious prayers of forgiveness. So they are not leaving a stone unturned in glorifying the Lord, because they understand that the time should be properly utilized. If time is not properly utilized in glorifying the Lord, then there is no use of the time. It will simply delay. It will simply delay, or rather, it will just make us old, but it is not going to make any difference as such. So, as much time as possible, we should engage the time in glorifying the Lord. And how do you glorify the Lord? Initially, we all have one particular characteristic. We have a tendency to glorify ourselves. That is, this quality also comes from the Lord. We don't leave one stone left, where we will, where we don't want anyone to glorify. Any point of time, we want to prove that we are the center of the universe. That is what is called as staying in the center of the universe. We mark ourselves as the center of the world. And that leads to a lot of problems. Like, I don't know how many of you are students in mathematics. In mathematics, we have something called as concentric circles. If concentric circles means circles having the same center but different circles. So what happens is everyone has one center. So concentric circles would be all of them. So then there is no problem. But when there are different circles, they will conflict. So that's what happens. The biggest amount of conflicts comes up in this material world because everyone is having their own circle. They want to be the center of that circle. And when they want to be the center of that circle, that creates a lot of problems actually. Lots and lots of problems. Because everyone wants to be the center of the universe. So, but the devotees are not like that. The devotees always want to glorify the Lord. By any means, they want to glorify the Lord because they want to keep the Lord at the center. And one very nice, it's in order to keep the Lord at the center, the first basic thing is we have to become humble. Humility. So, Jena Pisuni Jena, Tarana Pisuni Suna, Amani Namana Dena, Kitani Sada. So that means we have to keep the Lord in the center. For keeping the Lord in the center, we have to be humble. It happens to be actually the disappearance day of Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam Das actually exemplified this of how to keep the Lord in the center. He always kept Lord, Guru and Gauranga in the center of the his life. He was actually born in a very respectable family. Some say it was king's family, some say it was a zamindar's family, but nevertheless he was born in a very, very nice family. And it is mentioned that even though he was born in this very nice family, actually earlier itself Mahaprabhu had said that Krishna Prem will be given to Narottam. Narottam was actually Lord's nectarian love altogether. So he was born in a royal family, but he was always humble because he had the Lord's, if you can say, Lord's qualities in him, which was totally dedicated to Lord. And he didn't consider himself very big, He always considered, okay, I am not the center, the Lord is the center. So at the age of 16 itself, he started his journey towards Jagannath. So he thought, okay, let me go to Puri because to take darshan. But when he was going, that time he didn't have flight, So he couldn't go. By the time he started off, he received the news of disappearance of Mahaprabhu. So what he did, he started to Vrindavan. He thought, okay, I cannot meet the Lord. Let me meet the Lord's disciples, the Goswamis. So he started to go towards Vrindavan. When he reached Vrindavan, they also brought their pastimes to an end. They also brought their pastimes to an end, And so he was actually going across with Shyamanand Prabhu and Srinivasacharya. When we all go now, we will just see that, And when they finally reached Vrindavan, they could only take the lotus feet of Sri Jiva Goswami. So now Jiva Goswami was not initiating anyone. So Jiva Goswami was not initiating. That's why many Vaishnava gurus, they used to send devotees to go and take Shiksha from Jiva Goswami. Jiva was the leader at that time because Rupa and Sanatan had gone off. So Narottam also went to take Shiksha. But he also wanted Diksha because he had not taken. So that time, what happened was, Jiva Goswami said, you take the shelter of Loknath Goswami. He said, take the shelter of Loknath Goswami. Now, just imagine, Loknath Goswami didn't have any particular disciple. So Narottam went to Loknath Prabhu and begged initiation, give me initiation. But he also said, no, I cannot. Yes, Hare Krishna.
There's a lot of disturbance. Tell those people to unmute their. Lot of disturbance there. Very interesting class today. Very interesting class today with a lot of disturbance.
1 minute. I'll just proceed.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I hope it's better now. Yeah, so Loknath Goswami, then what happened? Loknath Goswami said, no, I'm not going to give initiation. But he was very determined. Narottam was very determined. Narottam was determined that some way or the other, I will take initiation from Loknath Goswami. So what he did, every day, he thought, I'll please Loknath Goswami. So Narottam would every morning go and clean the area. And Loknath would go to Oslo. This soon came to the attention of Loknath, and he decided to check who is doing this. How come the place where I'm passing my stool is becoming clean the next day? Who is doing it? When he discovered that it was so at that point of time, he came and he wanted to see that, okay, who is cleaning this place? And he figured out that it was Narottam Das, So being pleased with his humble service, he gave him initiation. And he was called Narottam Das Thakur, And he started performing bhajan under the guidance of his Dikshaguru. Now, what do we understand from this particular pastime? See, this happened not very long ago, but just imagine for us, I sometimes go, people don't even want to clean their own toilets. Right? We just picked up a particular base in North Bangalore, and when we took that house was totally dirty. Then the owner of the house said that the previous tenant was a Brahmin. He said that he was a Pandit like you are. He saw us here, ISKCON people. He said he was a Pandit like you are. But this Pandit was not keeping anything clean. And his toilet was like, sorry to say that, but it was like yellow in color. Means total, nothing cleaned up. People cannot even clean their own toilet. Forget toilet. You sometimes see people cannot even clean their own vessels after eating food. They consider that to be lowly. And just imagine the prince of a particular kingdom, he is cleaning the place of just a Babaji. The person who does not even know where he is going to get food the next time. That is humility. Because he's considering himself as the servant of the Lord, and he knows whom he has to serve. He has to serve the Lord or his devotees. And irrespective of any situation, he considers, he continues to serve the Supreme Personality of God and his devotees. One other pastime of this kind which comes to my mind, very irrespective of anything. See, why we are sharing this pastime, because when devastation is going on, people are not worried, people are not, the sages of Janaloka are glorifying the Lord. So we're saying how people, irrespective of any situation, they are not leaving a place to glorify the Lord. So similarly, like Srivas Thakur, in Srivas Thakur, when you go to Mayapur, you can go to Srivas Anga, Kolbhange place. So, so in that place, what is there is Srivas was actually in Srivas' house, Mahaprabhu and the devotees were doing kirtan. And when you do kirtan, there's a lot of kirtan happening. Suddenly, Srivas' wife started crying in the other house, and Srivas went and figured out. Srivas went and asked what happened. And at that point of time, he said that he found that his son had actually passed. He said, "How can I stop this? The kirtan is going on, Mahaprabhu's kirtan is going on. Don't go and disturb Mahaprabhu's Leela. Let us do this cremation later." And he actually, what he did was, he allowed them to continue the kirtan, and then later Mahaprabhu asked what is happening, and then Mahaprabhu said, "I know who has passed away," and then he figured out that it was actually Srivas' son had passed away, but Srivas didn't want to disturb that. He was in any particular situation, he wanted to serve the Lord, and the Lord was very pleased with him. Similarly, all of us are having our own issues. Everyone has one story, Banu Mataji has her own story, Sushma Mataji has story, Gaurangi Mataji has story, Revati Prabhu his story, Tejas Prabhu his story, Anadi his story, Shanta Govinda Prabhu his story. Every one of us have our own stories. And the stories have more of problems than happiness, because this place is supposed to be like that. This place is supposed to be like that. This place is supposed to be material world. Material world means dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This place is supposed to be full of problems. When you are full of problems, what is happiness here? Happiness here is just the absence of problems. So for one small moment, your problems will not be there. The next moment, problems will again increase. So when you don't have a problem, you consider that as a happiness, right? Everyone's story. Some story we know, some story we don't know. But all of you have that. Sometimes you share, sometimes you don't share. But irrespective of whatever our story means, we have to understand that we have to consider doing devotional service. Because devotional service is the only one which is permanent between us and the permanent Supreme Personality of the God, or Supreme Personality of God. That's the only thing which is constant. And if someone can understand this, then they have already reached the spiritual world. They will not be affected by all that is happening. Not that you will run away from anything. They'll have the strength to face this. They'll say, okay, whatever the Lord has done is being done for my own benefit. I'm learning from it. I'm growing from it. I'm becoming more dedicated to the Supreme Personality of God. That is what is the best part in any such situations. Like Srila Prabhupada could not succeed in his business. So anyone else will say, oh, what is this nonsense? Why am I getting into all of these things? You will feel very nasty about it. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, this is something very nice. Maybe this is being made so that I can dedicate myself more. So there could be different situations. There could be sometimes when people get more money. It could be so that they can dedicate themselves more for the service of Krishna, irrespective of any situations. All the situations are meant in order that we can become more and more dedicated towards Krishna, more and more. There shouldn't be no doubt about it, And, and that is what is exemplified by all the situations of our Vaishnavacharyas, which we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and which we see in also Srimad Bhagavatam. Like say Srimad Bhagavatam now, what we are seeing is basically a conversation between Parikshit and Sukadev, right? So Parikshit could have actually thought, oh, this situation, such nasty situation, why did this particular person do this? Why did the Shringi do this? That particular Brahmana boy. It was not Parikshit who was affected by Kali. Generally, we hear Parikshit was affected by Kali. It's not Parikshit who was affected by Kali. The Brahmin boy was affected by Kali too much. By the effect of Kali, the Brahmin boy became puffed up. So he could have counter-reacted. Parikshit could have counter-reacted. But what Parikshit thought, let me take the situation to increase my dependence on the Lord. And when he's increasing his dependence, how do you increase your dependence on the Lord? Increase my dependence on the Lord means you have to hear the Lord. Regular hearing is very important. How do I increase my dependence? So he said, okay, let me sit down and listen about the Supreme Personality of God. Didn't Parikshit know about the Lord? He knew about the Lord right from his birth. That's why his name is Parikshit. He saw the Lord when he was in his womb itself. So Parikshit saw the Lord there itself. But Parikshit wants to increase his surrender. He's put in a situation. So in that situation, he's trying to see, okay, in this situation, can I become the center of the universe? So that everyone starts seeing me. No. Let me not be the center. Let me put Sukadev in the center. And let us both then put Krishna in the center. And when we put Krishna in the center, then it will be beneficial and pleasing for everyone. And Parikshit changed the situation. By the time the Bhagavatam was over, Parikshit was in such a state that when like in Bhagavad Gita, you'll see after Bhagavad Gita is spoken, Krishna asks Arjuna, are your all doubts clear? He says, yes, all my doubts are clear, and now I will fight. Here, Sukadeva asks Parikshit, are you all clear? Are you all clear now will you be focused? He says, yes, I'll be focused. And he actually sits down focused. And Sukadev leaves. And he doesn't even know when Takshak comes and bites him, but it does not matter for him. At that point, his means death or life does not matter for him. He has already transcended that. So he actually used the situation to become more Krishna conscious. Any particular way. You can see even in our day-to-day life, different devotees, you'll see that how they are utilizing the situation to become more Krishna conscious. That's very important. Let's take the example of some of the spiritual masters who are there, whom I closely see also, like I see Jagtak Maharaj. So the situation at this point of time is he cannot means materially speaking, cannot move across. So he could have sat down, gone across, said that, okay, I have already built the place. Srila Prabhupada had said me that I'm giving you will you build the temple? So I'll do that. I have already done this. Now it's time for my relaxation. No, nothing of that kind. He sat down, and what he has done now, they said you cannot travel. So he's going to more house visitation. He's doing more house visitation. Not only that, he's preaching more and more. I was talking to one of his personal secretary. He was saying his schedule is tight than me. I only work 8-hour shift. He works the total 24 hours. All the 3 shift people think that they are getting stretched out. So why I'm saying is each situation can be turned the way you want to increase your dependence on Krishna, and to make Krishna as the center of our life. Not we as the center, Krishna as the center of our life. When we do that, when we bring Krishna as the center of our life, then nothing goes wrong. Nothing goes wrong. Even if it goes wrong, it will help us. in increasing our faith and dependence. That's the essence of this thing. Now, still we have to try to understand that why is Parikshit asking all of these aspects, all these technical aspects to the Lord, to his spiritual master. And when he's asking the technical aspect, it is not that no one else has asked those technical aspects. When Sukadev is saying that Parikshit, that Vidura and Maitreya have also asked. Now, Vidura was not a scientist. Right? So, but Vidura is asking why. See, sometimes this knowledge, people may think that it is very, very, why do we need to understand this? But Prabhupada said, if you don't understand the magnanimity, you don't understand how big the Lord is, then given that we are very much in this material world where we are like the small frogs, we will think that our world is the biggest world. We'll consider ourselves as the center of the universe. And when we do this, then we cannot understand the enormity. And then what will happen is, when we start reading, so directly Sukadev Goswami could have spoken the pastimes of Krishna. And when he could have spoken the pastime of Krishna, then Parikshit would have heard, and then he would have remembered the Lord, and then he would have left. Yes, that could have been done. But for our particular benefit, he also checked that not only is that, just imagine from the Lord, Balaram comes, from Balaram, the first quadruple expansion, then the second quadruple expansion, then from that second quadruple expansion, Mahavishnu comes, who is Karanadakshayi. Then from that Karanadakshayi, so many Garbhodakshayi Vishnus come. From each Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, then one universe gets populated. Can you just imagine that? Just try to imagine how big the Lord is. Because only when you understand this particular aspect will you be able to understand that how much big the Lord is and how infinitesimal we are. That's why this is required. Otherwise, this jnana is not to become and compete with someone else to say, I am right and you are wrong. Nothing of that kind. It's to mention, it's to understand it's to give the enormity and then to understand, okay, this is my Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if this is my Supreme Personality of Godhead, how can I bind him in my heart? And how did Mother Yashoda bind him? This is the month of Damodar. How did Mother Yashoda bind him? The same Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as I said to you, from Krishna comes Balaram, from Balaram the first waterfall, and from the second Sankarshan of that, the second waterfall, and then from that you get the Mahavishnu. Just imagine that Mahavishnu from his pores, each universe is coming. So how big that Krishna would be, who was the source of all this, Anadi Radhi Govinda, Sarva Karana, how big he would be. He who even death personified fears, he who even everyone means everything is dependent on him. He is running away from his mother in fear. Because Mother Yashoda has binded him with love. I happened to be in a class when Brihat Bhagavatam Maharaj was here. Brihat Bhagavatam Maharaj was saying that the total day of Yashoda was imbued in such a way that she never kept herself at the center. She kept Krishna at the center. Maharaj was saying she didn't have karatal to play kartal and sing Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Yashoda. But she used to totally, all her activities in the day was actually, she was churning the butter, and Maharaj was saying she had so many bangles that the bangles were making the sound of karatal. And she was actually, in that way, she was glorifying the Lord. Total day she was Krishna conscious. So Krishna consciousness is something which we can be in any particular state of mind. By seeing someone, you will not be able to know whether they are Krishna conscious or not, just by their appearance or by their... Yes, there are certain things we say, like a policeman has to wear a police dress and others, but just by that you cannot see. That's why you should never judge a Vaishnava. Right? Sometimes a Vaishnava, you cannot even know that. How big, how much Krishna conscious he is what is more required. Otherwise, it becomes very, very, very difficult for us. We start thinking whether they are being totally Krishna conscious or not. They are being or not is a different thing. Whether you are being Krishna conscious or not is the most important thing. Whether you are, don't be worried about too much about it. Just first worry whether you are Krishna conscious or not. If you are Krishna conscious, if you are keeping Krishna at the center, things will fall into place. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time that we can, everyone will become Krishna conscious. Right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. We'll stop our class here. If you all have any questions or corrections or any comments, we can discuss. Looks like you all have understood, and there is nothing you all want to ask. So, today being Narottam Das disappearance day, we'll sing a small bhajan there, and then we'll close that, right? Now, wait a minute, let me just open up. It mentioned that Narottam Das bhajans are supposed to do. It can give us Krishna Prem equivalent to the Vedas and Puranas. We had two books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika, and it is said that someone asked how much money you need for getting Krishna Prem, and God showed that Prabhupada Maharaj said in Charana you can get. Charana means 25 paisa. At the time in 25 paisa you could buy Prarthana and Prema Bhakti Chandrika. So if you read this too, you can get Krishna Prem. So, okay. So we can sing a very nice song. It's called Gauranga Pulitha Pula Pasarina. I will first see the meaning also. It'll take 5 minutes of our time. You are able to see the screen. It says, when will that opportune moment come to us? And there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name. While chanting Hare Krishna, will there be tears in the eyes? When will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda Chandra? When by his mercy will the desire for material enjoyment become very insignificant? When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desire, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavana and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. And then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami? By their instruction, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Narottam Das constantly prays to attain their lotus feet. Yes. Karuna hoite sankara basana moda kabe tu Bisaya chariya kabe sudha bimana kabe ham heba Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Amabhutha Bose Yugala Piri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Rahumara Asha Kathana Pade Sada Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Thank you again for staying along. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. 1 second.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Srila Prabhu, Tejas Prabhu, Revatinandan Prabhu, Manas Manjari Mati, Mamta Patramati Ji, Shanta Govinda Prabhu, Shanti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Someone on iPhone, someone is there. Hare Krishna. Yes, we'll stop here.